Yeah. Okay, good afternoon. My name is Raviv Raz, and I'm the founder CEO of Hybrid Security. And basically what Hybrid Security does is analyze the behavior of website users and provide cyber intelligence about what these users are doing and basically spot the anomalous people. I know you keep hearing about anomalies all day long. So our focus is on the web. And basically, as IDC and Barclays declared us, we're changing the rules of the game because we're changing the paradigm of being signature-based in network security systems and moving to behavioral profiling of website users. So as we speak, there's a new campaign, again, launched by Anonymous against the government of Israel, starting from April 7th. And this only goes to show that this cyber warfare against websites is getting worse. It's not going away. Basically, they keep using the same techniques, and once in a while, you know, it works. It's the same old stuff, though a lot of websites are still vulnerable. There's SQL injection, where they try to and lots of times they succeed to extract information or penetrate, you know, the database behind the website. And then basically they disclose details, you know, on public websites such as Pastebin. And if they don't succeed in this, then usually what Anonymous goes on to do is just try to knock down the website itself by using distributed denial of service attacks. I did not come to talk about these attacks. These are the classic ones, and usually you can detect them with signatures because they're well known. These attacks keep occurring, and so the researchers and security vendors can produce signatures for these attacks and then use them to detect the future ones. Basically, just to wrap up the usual techniques, the hackers would infect PCs. You know, you would just get infected from a website containing malware, and then they would basically harvest all these PCs together into one botnet and then command and control this botnet to do whatever they like. The thing is that these attacks are getting more sophisticated. They don't just try to knock down the websites. They try to use these massive botnets for fraud attacks, okay? And then they try to use stolen credit cards and purchase items online using these credit cards. They can get a bulk of 100,000 credit cards and try them one by one against the website. Now, in this case, it's very business logic agnostic. And what I mean by that is that when you try to purchase something online or you try to defraud a business online, you need to adapt to its business logic model. You need to work by the business model of that specific website. And then, in this case, the traditional network security systems simply don't have predefined signatures for such attacks. And this is why business logic layer attacks go through all traditional network security systems. So I'll give you one example that already happened in 2011. A large bank, Citibank, I think it's one of the 3 largest banks in the world. They had best-of-breed network security, and still somebody noticed that they could log in, you know, and as an authenticated user, they found out they could just play around with the account number that existed in the URL and then move sideways to 500,000 accounts of other users in Citibank and see all the financial data inside these accounts. Why did it work? Of course, they had a web application firewall, intrusion detection system, and all that. The thing is, this is very business logic agnostic. Somebody noticed that this is how the website worked in Citibank. Another good example, if you want to make the fast buck, go to a Forex site. Try to use 2 currencies. They have a large spread, large ratio between them. Take a weak one, like the Russian ruble, take the smallest amount possible, and make something like 1,000 transactions buying British pounds. Okay? What you'll get is a very small number, and then when the financial system rounds it up, when they want to pay you that amount, they'll have to round it to 1 penny. Okay, so 1 pence to the 1 kopeka in the ruble is the wrong ratio. Okay, if I'm showing this too fast, you can come to our booth later and I'll explain to you how to make money on Forex sites. So this is very business logic agnostic, and unless you have a behavioral profiling system that looks at how the population usually behaves, this kind of transaction will look normal because there's no traditional attack against the application. Another good example for anomalous behavior that could be dangerous is web scraping. And so it started with Bradley Manning, who exposed I think, the biggest trove of documents to WikiLeaks, basing WikiLeaks from the start. Bradley Manning, within the military, the US military, used a scraping tool that crawled through web pages looking for specific information. It looked like he was surfing these web systems, but he was doing it systematically, automatically, and on a massive scale, which was on its own an anomalous behavior. But it did not trigger any signature because there was no predefined signature for this. Then came Edward Snowden. And he used, apparently, a web scraper as well. That was an off-the-shelf software modified to look for specific intelligence. Some sources say it was looking for intelligence on Eastern Asian resources that the NSA had in their databases. Once again, he used the scraper, and it did work and collect thousands of documents, if not tens of thousands of documents, and we all know what the damage was in the end. Last example I'll give you is the biggest threat against financial institutions in the world, many of the browser Trojans that infect the computer, then bypass all of the bank's security measures in the network by simply hijacking a legitimate session, piggybacking a legitimate user's web session, and then sending out transfer commands to take the money out of our account while we're just looking at our balance in the bank. So there's a split in the session. While the legitimate user is going about his business, the Trojan horse basically steals the money out of the bank. And this is a behavioral anomaly, which hybrid security can pick up on using behavioral profiling of the web users. This has become such a pervasive problem that the US regulator since 2011 now recommends that behavioral anomaly detection systems be put into every bank that does business online. So basically our technology is a non-intrusive mechanism that sniffs out the traffic. It basically taps into the network and listens into the traffic that goes into the websites before it reaches the actual web servers, and then it can basically compare the behavior in real time against the normal model that was established based on the personal profile of each user and based on the common characteristics of the population of users. And then in real time, when it detects a threat, it can send a signal into the website and basically divert the attack and also alert the organization and pretty much prevent such fraudulent attacks. It's based on advanced machine learning, patent-pending algorithms that analyze many aspects of the behavior of the user, such as the geography where users tend to come from, the speed of the clicks, how they navigate through the site, what options you choose inside the menus of the website. So altogether, it can make calculations for millions of transactions in a very, very short time, in milliseconds, come to a conclusion and say, this person is not behaving in a normal way. It provides real-time intelligence. You can define the behavior, the crime behavior that you're looking for if you're a fraud expert, but it will also alert you about suspicious people based on its own heuristics that gets more and more accurate. Every day it learns the population of users. And it can also assist in long-term investigations by showing what kind of business actions were performed by the users and actually managing cases where you want to say, I want to know about all the people coming from Afghanistan and doing suspicious things in suspicious hours, especially from a certain group of users in my system. So this is one of the first true cyber intelligence systems that allows a cyber analyst to focus on what they want at the business level, and it can even pinpoint in this case and say the person logged in, sent a lot of SMS text messages online, and the social security number was very anomalous. So it can even pinpoint the problematic parts. This has been deployed successfully in telecom environments and spotted web scrapers and account takeover where people try to take over landline subscribers. This was deployed successfully in a government environment and actually detected zero-day attacks that went through all the network security measures that were there. And trust me, there were very good security measures in front. And in a financial environment, we even detected internal employees that were doing very suspicious things from very suspicious places in the world. So this is what we're all about, and thank you very much for your time.